Today we're going to be starting our journey on building a hard-sided pop-up truck topper for my Ford Ranger. We're going with a hard-sided pop-up because we've always wanted to build one. And I like the idea of just having, hard sides all the way around you. It just feels sturdier. It's going to be more insulated and just better protection from the elements and whatever's out there. Plus, it's just something fun that I've wanted to do for a while. So I built a truck camper already for this thing, and I've made a bunch of videos about it if you want to check them out. I did one about the poor man's fiberglass on the foam, which I guess a lot of people like that. It's getting about 100 searches every single day for the last year, so that's pretty good. Seems like a lot of people want that information, so it's out there. But for this one, we are going to be doing poor man's fiberglass again, but this truck camper is going to be made out of plywood instead of foam on the outside. So it is going to be a little bit heavier. But the reason we're doing that is since we're doing the over the cab pop up where the bed's going to be up top, I wasn't really sure how the foam was going to be able to handle the strength of sleeping up there. So I just went with full wood construction on this one. We're still going to try to make it as light as possible, do everything we possibly can to save weight while not just, you know, getting rid of the structure. So you can see here we're working on this 3D model and we're just kind of building it here before we build it in real life because it just makes it a lot easier. Make sure all your wood lines up where it's supposed to be. So I really do recommend doing some 3D stuff before you jump into it if you want. I mean, I always draw it, do it in 3D, and then build it. So I like to do that because I just, you never know when you're gonna have a realization that you're doing something just completely wrong. So taking those extra design steps just kind of avoids that situation when you're in the build process. Hopefully. I mean, there's always something that pops up that you don't think about, but it definitely just helps to be prepared. So what we're doing now is we're gonna copy and paste this over to here. We're gonna slap this roof on the top, make sure that it's gonna fit properly, and also it just helps me visualize the whole thing. I'm a very visual person, so seeing it in my head and then making it in real life helps me out a lot before I build it. So, and we're going to copy and paste another frame over here so that we can have the same piece without having to rework it. And we're going to work on the pop-up roof section. So what we're doing right now is we're actually making this line inside from the outside edge because that is where the roof itself is going to set down on the frame of the truck camper. So what we're going to be doing is working on the insides of that line. So this line right here is going to be the front wall that folds up, and this line right here obviously is going to be the side wall that folds up, and then we're going to go ahead and draw this back wall that's going to fold up, and then obviously the other side wall. So we're still trying to figure out like exactly how high we want to go. I was thinking about making it full stand up for me. So that would mean that I need to make these flip up walls 30 inches tall. So they're gonna overlap when they fold down, which was something I didn't think about when I was originally building this. That's why I had to switch the front and rear support of the roof into 1x2s instead of 1x3s because the two pieces need to fold over. And as far as sealing it, we've got some ideas. We're thinking about maybe making something that like fits over the outside with maybe like some Velcro and just some waterproof seals that would hopefully keep the water out. Maybe like 2 layers of seals, one on the walls itself, one on that piece. Or we've got a couple other ideas, but right now I think that's the one that we have decided to go with. So we wanted to put the windows in the actual pop-up tops. I see all these pop-ups and they have windows like in the side walls and the doors and all that, but like you can't use those when you're laying up on top of your bed. So they kind of seem pointless to me. It's just a way for someone to easily break into the camper, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going with the windows only on the top, and my side walls are going to be completely solid, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. Now, what we're doing here is So the sidewalls are going to be 1/4 inch plywood, and instead of like making the 1/4 inch plywood, I'm just kind of taking the shortcut and clicking on all these lines and making them disappear. So it's going to look nice and smooth. Just trying to save a little bit of time on this, and I think this will be less complicated than doing the walls. So we're just clicking on these again and making them go away. Now the camper's starting to take some shape here. We got a pretty good visual of what we want. And we're just gonna go ahead and add the roof here. And once we add the roof, we're just gonna go ahead and get that plywood over the top and make them lines go away just like we did before, so we can visually see how it's gonna look. Yeah, that's pretty much what we want to build right there. So you can tell the top is quite a bit bigger than the bottom. The bottom is 2 feet, and the top is supposed to be 2.5 feet for just the walls, and then another 2 inches on top of that for the roof. So when it folds up, it should be 32 inches above 2 feet mark, which is going to be kind of tall. We were thinking about making the fold up walls 2 feet also, just so that it's nice and even and it doesn't overlap, and it would just be one sheet of wood for both of the long side walls instead of having to go 2 sheets of wood. So we're just kind of deciding that. But yeah, we want to put those graphics back on it probably just like we did on the other camper. We're just adding the visuals for the locks and like the piano hinge that we're going to use to open and close the back door. And we can't forget about the struts that are going to be holding the roof up. So we're just going to go ahead and slap those in there real quick and get a pretty good idea of what we want. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. We're going to be dropping next Sunday part 2, where it's going to be going over the frame build, and then the following Sunday after that, we're going to be going dropping part 3 with the plywood and some of the roof build and the door. So make sure you guys are like, subscribe, and follow along on the journey. We'll see you there.